What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Corey back with you, and I'm just a guy on my lunch break. Why is the name of the channel Just a Guy on My Lunch Break? Because I'm literally just a guy on my lunch break. I work for a place, I work 8 to 5 every day. I work for a place that requires you to take a lunch. I tried to figure out a way to get around that when I first started working for this company. They don't really give you that sort of leeway. I mean, they will if you have something you have to take care of or something, or if you ever need to skip your lunch and leave a little early or something, they'll work with you. But it's one of those things where they're not just going to let you make the decision up front. Well, hey, I don't want to take a lunch. I don't really usually eat a full lunch every day, because I'm one of those people that snacks throughout the day, like on fruits and nuts and cheese and different stuff like that. A super healthy eater, so I don't sit down and eat like a full course meal at lunch. I never have. Well, I'm not gonna say I never have, but within the past probably 15 to 20 years of my life, I've not. So what do? I come to the park where there's a disc golf course here. There's a nice little bridge and like a creek down below, and I sit and I spend some time with you guys. I talk about a little bit of everything regarding substance use, a little bit of substance abuse on here, specifically Kratom, because Kratom is one of those things, because of its availability, is something that's becoming more and more popular within the United States. There are some states that have actually banned Kratom. My state is not one of those states. It's perfectly legal in my state and can be found literally on about any corner, because there are head shops and smoke shops literally everywhere in my city. Perhaps may be better for me if that were not the case, since I like Kratom so much, right? But hence, here I am discussing with you guys my Kratom use, coming off of Kratom, going back and doing a little bender on Kratom, now being off of Kratom again on my second day, completely off of it. So if you're just happening upon my channel, you haven't seen any of my prior videos. When I first started this channel 4 months ago, I was just coming off of roughly about 2 MIT extracts per day. Decided those were way too expensive and way too highly addictive. So I actually quit taking those, started taking the Kratom powder, tapered down to where I was at about 2.5 grams of Kratom powder. And then my wife and I learned that we were having a baby. Very last minute, we knew for 6 days that we were having a baby. And so at that time, I threw my taper out the window. It did not continue a taper, and I got back on the Kratom, just the powder, but I got back on the Kratom. About a month and a half ago, I decided to go ahead and taper again, to come completely off of it. I did that, came completely off of Kratom, and was off of Kratom completely for, I think, 27 days was the number, before I actually did go on kind of a Kratom bender this weekend. My son and I were driving. I was going to say traveling, but driving is kind of the key word there. We drove all the way from North Carolina to Boston, Massachusetts this past weekend for UFC 292, where Sugar Sean O'Malley made history, becoming, for his first time, the bantamweight UFC champion. I say he's making history because this guy's like the next Conor McGregor, basically. I would say with that win last night, he's right up there. I would say, I'm not going to say number one, but I would say he's right up there in the top three, maybe top five of the most popular fighters in the sport at this point. So it was really cool to be able to go with my son, be able to see that. I did go on a Kratom bender this past weekend, and I'm now on my second day completely off of the Kratom again. I didn't take any Kratom yesterday, haven't taken any Kratom today, which I still have 5 Kratom capsules left from where because I bought some for when I went out of town. And I still have about 5 Kratom capsules left. Not sure what I'm going to do with those. Maybe I'll throw those away. Kind of like I did when I completely quit right around a month ago. Maybe I'll hold on to them for a rainy day. Maybe I'll, take a dose on Saturday. Something like that. I'm not sure what I'll do. But nonetheless, my second day right now on Zero Kratom. How am I feeling? Well, I will say, and I admit that going on the bender, which I used relatively heavily, but going on the bender definitely caused me to kind of start thinking about Kratom again, and having that rationalization within myself. Now, why are you coming off of this? Why can't you use this? Having those sort of real conversations. But because that's the hard part, right? At least for me, that's the hard part. Depending upon who you are, some people use to the point and have negative consequences to the point where the decision kind of gets made for them. Like, dude, you're at the bottom of the freaking barrel. You're at literally rock bottom of the pit. You can't go down any further. So if you continue to use, you might as well just write your own freaking death sentence or sign your own eviction notice and get your ass out in the street and be homeless because you're that far down. A lot of people experience that. A lot of people experience that sort of rock bottom when it comes to something like Kratom use. Difficult for me because I never experienced that. For me, the worst consequence or the worst consequences other than when I was on the extracts, I was definitely spending more money than I liked to spend. My wife and I make good money. We make a good, yearly income. So it's one of those things where we were never able to not pay our bills or something. We never had to forego making our mortgage payment or our car payment because I had gone and bought too much Kratom. It was never anything like that for me, for us. And so, of course, I'm kind of a frugal person, aside from, the fact that I was buying that much Kratom. Outside of that, I'm generally kind of a frugal individual. I'm not the kind of person that has to go out and have the latest this and the latest that. I don't go and buy, really expensive gaming systems. I live off of a golf course where probably half of the families in that Forest Oaks area own a golf cart, so they can just kind of cruise around the neighborhood on a golf cart on a Friday or Saturday night. I don't have a golf cart. I could easily buy a golf cart. My wife and I have talked about buying a golf cart. We have not. I don't have four-wheelers. I don't have a boat. I don't have a camper. I don't have, all of these extra little toys that people tend to buy in their lives. I don't have those things. I don't have those things. The only thing that my wife and I have bought that we have, I guess you could say, splurged on is a hot tub. We do have a hot tub sitting on our lower deck out beside our house. We have a lake directly behind our house. And when we were fortunate enough to get that home and buy that home, we took one look at that view off of both of those decks behind my home, and we knew immediately we gotta get ourselves a hot tub. We've gotta. There's just no way around it. We have to get ourselves a hot tub. And we did, and we love it. And we sit out there in the hot tub, and we have a beautiful view of the sun setting over the lake behind our house. My wife feeds deer, duck, geese, squirrels, all these different animals. We have our property is registered literally as a wildlife habitat, so we'll be sitting out there at dusk in the hot tub overlooking the lake, and we'll have 8, 9, 10 deer literally 15, 20 feet from us in our side yard eating deer corn and apples. It's just a really, really cool place. It's almost like a little utopia. My wife's house and mine and my wife's house, very private. On one side, there's nothing but woods. Then on the other side, on the opposite side of where the hot tub is, there's another home, but it's probably 75 yards through the woods, and there's a patch of woods separating our home. And then at the back of the home, there's a lake, and the lake is probably 100 yards in diameter. So directly out of the back of my home, through all the trees and then the lake, and I mean, you can't see anybody. It's super private, and private to the point where if I wanted to jump out of the hot tub and stand naked on the side of my deck and just piss in my own yard, I would have absolutely zero concern about that. Nobody could see me. No neighbors, no one encroaching on our privacy or property or anything like that. So for that, we had to get a hot tub. Outside of that, my wife and I are very frugal people. I was never taking an ungodly amount of Kratom. Also, while I was taking the Kratom, I always ate super healthy. I always kept a good exercise routine. I always took vitamins. I always drank a ton of water. So, for me, the reason that I wanted to stop Kratom is because I didn't like the feeling of being slave to that substance. I didn't like the feeling of, well, I have to take it morning, afternoon, and night, or else what? Or else I feel like shit, or else I start going through withdrawals, or else I physically start feeling bad, or else I mentally or emotionally start feeling bad. I didn't like that feeling. I did not like that feeling. And what's more, similar to, other opiate-like substances, when I would go to stop, or when I would go to lessen or curtail my use of Kratom, I was finding that, damn, I'm kind of feeling like shit. I'm kind of wanting it. I'm kind of craving it. I'm kind of thinking about it every few minutes. My body feels crappy. I'm kind of aching a little bit, that sort of thing. And so those were the reasons for me. And I can only name 2 or 3. Those were the reasons for me that I wanted to stop taking Kratom. But I'm not one of these people where the negative consequences and effects of taking it regularly, daily, dosing on it regularly, almost like self-medicating, I never had any issue with that. I never had any, you hear people talking about all the time, oh, it tore my gut up. My gut was this big. It tore my stomach up. I couldn't keep it down. I gained all kinds of weight. I was losing all my hair. It was messing up my skin. It was this and that. And you hear these people, which I have a theory about that. I think that people that are experiencing those sort of negative side effects are 2 things. One is that they're taking a shit ton of Kratom. There are people out there that are taking 30, 40, 50, in excess of 50 grams per day of Kratom, which I think is just astronomical. The second thing is a lot of people are not only taking Kratom, but they're also not eating healthy, leading a sedentary lifestyle. They're constantly and severely dehydrated. They're not taking vitamins and minerals. They're never getting out and moving around, exercising, keeping their digestive system flowing, and keeping their body flushed with toxins, out, with exercise, staying hydrated, drinking tons of water, all these things. So I have theories about that, because for me, when I was taking, 8, 10, 12 grams of Kratom per day, but then outside of that, I was living healthy, eating healthy, exercising, drinking all the water, doing all those things. I never really had a lot of negative side effects. The only negative side effects I had is when I went to stop taking it. And so for me, personally, that has definitely been one of the hardest. That's been one of the hardest things about continuing to stay off of it, because I keep having to constantly remind myself of my why, and my why in wanting to come off of it is probably not as blatant. It's probably not as glaring or blaring as a lot of people's whys, because I never really experienced a lot of negative side effects from taking Kratom, especially when I was just using the powder and taking 8, 10, 12 grams per day, other than the fact that I just don't like feeling slave to it, but I'm also one of those people that I got a lot going on. I've got a tiny baby at home. I have a 17-year-old son. My wife and I both work really, really hard. We have a lot of responsibility, and it's one of those things where, I do have some anxiety as a result of that. And should I go to the doctor and get help with that? I don't want to be on, Wellbutrin, or I definitely don't want to be given something like Xanax for anxiety, or I don't want to be. I'm the type of person that if I went to the doctor, told them I was having some issues with anxiety in my life, and they gave me something to take on a regular basis, I would feel just as off about that. I'm one of those people that grew up believing that you shouldn't have to take anything, that whatever, the chemicals that are already present within your body are there, and they should be able to manifest for you in a mentally and physically healthy way, as long as you are living your life healthily. And I kind of have grown up that way. So I'm one of those people that I just have a mental block and aversion to. And some people are cool with it. I don't know if they're just using their words to say they're cool with it, or if they're actually cool with it. But I get comments and hear from people all the time who say, "Oh, what's the big deal? Everybody's addicted to something. Everybody's addicted to their phones. There's all kinds of people addicted to social media. Everybody's addicted to caffeine. There's people out there that are addicted to sugar. There's people out there that are addicted to video games and sit and play video games 8, 10 hours a day, and basically, don't have any positive relationships with family, friends, anything like that, because they're addicted to, these certain computer technologies and this and that and the other." And while I don't disagree that that's true, I'm one of those people that I don't want to be like, well, I'm the lesser of two evils, or since everybody else is fucked up, it's okay for me to be fucked up too, right? We love that one as a human society, right? But we love that one as a human society. Well, hell, man, at least I'm not on the street shooting up heroin. I mean, I'm not as bad as that guy. I mean, not as bad as that chick over there on the street corner. I mean, I live up the street from a guy who uses, I know I use 20 grams of Kratom every day, but dude, I live up the street from a guy who's on 80 grams of Kratom every day. You know, we love to, especially as addicts, we love to compare ourselves to those people, you know. We can always, there's always comfort in being able to point to people that are worse off than your ass is, right? We love that one. You know, well, at least I don't do this. Well, at least I'm not as bad as this. Well, I might be addicted to this, but at least I'm not addicted to that. At least I'm not addicted to cocaine. At least I'm not addicted to fentanyl. You know, we love to mark ourselves as the lesser of two evils. And, you know, there's flawed thinking in that. And I realize that. You know, I'm not an idiot person. You know, I'm a realist, and I'm a practical person. And, you know, I realize that sort of thinking in and of itself is flawed. You know, and aside from that, that's their business. You know, I'm worried about my own business, and I'm worried about how using Kratom on a regular basis makes me feel. You know, as far as everyone else's relationship, how they are with it, and whether they're cool with it, and whether they're cool with being on it and never coming off of it, or whatever the case is, I'll leave that to them. You know, everyone, you know, makes their own decisions in life, you know, and I find that, or I feel that there are some people out there who are possibly cool with where they are with Kratom, and they've kind of just resigned to the fact that they're a person who will always take something like that. You know, me, especially taking it on a regular, ongoing basis every day, I just can't. You know, I just can't. I can't ever come to a point where I'm just completely cool with it, where I'm just completely resigned to the fact that, well, this is me. This is my life, I guess. You know, morning, noon, and night, I'm going to be using something like Kratom. This is going to be my crutch until the day I die. You know, and it is a crutch. You know, especially when you're using it regularly, consistently. You know, and I understand. Just as quickly as I'll say that, there'll be somebody to comment on my video and, you know, well, I take it for chronic pain and it's been a lifesaver for me. Kratom saved my life, and this, you know, and listen, you know, I'm not telling you that you are wrong. I'm telling you that I'm wrong, because I was taking it not for chronic pain. You know, I was taking it not to wean myself off of some harder drug like fentanyl or heroin, or even pain pills. You know, a lot of people know about my history with pain pills on here, but my history with pain pills was 15 years ago, bro. I'm 47 years old. My history with heavy addiction to pain pills was, you know, I was 32, you know, 28 to 32, 33 years old, somewhere around in there was when I was heavily addicted. Now, I have used like a couple of handfuls of times pain pills, you know, between then and now, but it's never been to a point where I, you know, was addicted, physically dependent upon the pain pills again. So, you know, when I started using Kratom, it was just to get the buzz. It was just for the euphoria. It's just for the fun of it. You know, it wasn't because I was coming off of something harder and Kratom was the lesser of the two evils. Or that I have some sort of physical, chronic, acute pain that I deal with on a daily basis, and I needed and had to have something like Kratom to adjust and improve the quality of my life. It's nothing like that for me, you know. So if you're a person out there that you truly in your heart of hearts feel like you have to have Kratom and Kratom is the best option for you, then I'm not talking to you. You know, I mean, you're welcome to still listen to the channel, you know, and if you find the things that I'm saying interesting or inspiring, or I bring some clarity to the subject for you, then, you know, that's great. You're welcome to still watch the channel. But I'm not on here, for one, I'm not on here trying to get Kratom banned. That's one of the things that, you know, and it doesn't happen often. I have some pretty, you know, intelligent subscribers on here who know why I'm on here, and I'm kind of on here just trying to educate a few more people, and in that process, I'm trying to also kind of use this channel as my own accountability mirror to curtail my use with Kratom. Most people know that, but I still, you know, nonetheless, every once in a while have someone pop up and, you know, who's, you know, a person who thinks that the more people like me that are out here, you know, talking about the negative effects and the negative impacts of daily Kratom use, the more of me that are out here, the bigger chance that Kratom is going to be banned in the near future. And listen, you know, I'm not trying to do that. What I am trying to do is just be a voice in the dark for people who have gone down that Kratom rabbit hole. Because undoubtedly there are plenty of people out there, and how do I know this? Because I read the comments. By God, I read the freaking comments every day, and I'm telling you, I mean, I've only got a little less than 400 subscribers on this channel. It's not a huge channel. I've only been doing this channel for like, what, 4 months maybe? But in that short amount of time, and in that less than 400 subscribers that I have right now, I have gotten hundreds of comments of people saying, Kratom is destroying my life. I've been taking it for this long. I've been taking this much. Every time I try to stop, the withdrawals are hellish. I've tried to stop one time and this happened, so I ended up going back on it. I'm just caught in this loop. I'm caught in this hell, and I don't know how to get out of it. Your videos are inspiring me, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on and on till the break of dawn. I mean, I am not even lying to you. So for anybody that comes on, and I've had them. I've had people come on, oh, Kratom's not addictive. Kratom's a botanical, you know. Get it right, man. You know, basically saying, don't be on here giving Kratom a bad name. Well, don't be on here campaigning against Kratom just so you can get some likes. I had somebody say that to me one time. I was like, you fucker. I'll take your little neck, take your head, and take your little neck. Just and I'm not even a violent person. I'm not. Don't get it twisted. I like the UFC, but it's a competition. You know, I'm not a violent guy. Never have been. But I just want to take people by their little small head, because their heads are about this big, because their brains must be about this big. And I just want to take them. You don't know what you're talking about, dumbass. But I've had those people as well. But those comments have been few, far in between. Those people who are in denial about what Kratom can be, what it can do, you know, from a negative standpoint. But I mean, the comments of people who understand how addictive Kratom can be and have been affected by that in a massive way, those comments are 99 to 1 versus people who claim that it's not addictive and it's not a problem and this and that and the other, right? And I know, because I see the comments and I read the comments on a regular basis. So, you know, people feel like they're stuck in it. And there's a lot of people that don't even want to take that first step to come off of Kratom because they're scared of the withdrawals. You know, a lot of people get blindsided by it. You know, especially in the beginning, you know, Kratom was marketed. It's not only available everywhere. You don't have to go to a doctor. You don't have to see a doctor. You don't have to pay a copay. You don't have to worry about whether the story that you're giving the doctor is going to be sufficient enough for them to write you for some sort of opiate. You don't have to worry about none of that. You don't have to worry about a pharmacist looking at this and say, well, damn, you know, I'll feel this, but weren't you in here just a week ago getting, you know, it shows in the system here, you just got another prescription of Vicodin filled a week ago. You know, you don't have to worry about none of that shit. You know, you can go to this head shop on the corner of 5th and Main, buy as much Kratom as you want, pull right out of that parking lot, drive a half mile down the street to the Kratom shop that's, you know, on the corner of West Street, and you can do the same thing there and go in and buy the exact same thing. I mean, you can buy as much as you want. And not only that, when it first started coming out, the information on Kratom, a lot of it was misleading. You know, and people were looking at this stuff and thinking that it's not addictive, it's just a botanical, it's like coffee. I've heard that one. Like, what? Like coffee? Shit, this shit ain't no coffee, bro. This shit ain't no coffee. I've never sat around for half the morning thinking about some mother effing coffee like I have Kratom. I'm telling you that for 1,000% sure. This ain't no coffee. This is coffee, right? This is coffee. Coffee's good. I'm not saying coffee's not addictive. Coffee is addictive, yeah, but it's a completely different kind of addictive. It's on a different freaking playing field than is something like Kratom. 32. All right, it's gonna cut me off here. It hasn't been letting me go as long recently. I think I've got too many texts in my phone or something. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm on day 2. No Kratom yesterday, no Kratom today, no physical withdrawals because I was off of it for 27 days, so I'm not having any physical withdrawals. One thing I'm glad I'm doing tonight, I'm going back to kickboxing. I spent all this last weekend driving, going here and there, so I've not really exercised. It's been probably 6 days for me since I've done any sort of physical exertion exercise. And for any of you who know me, that's not cool. Not cool. And I think that definitely has something to do with my, you know, well, taking the Kratom, going through that bender on the Kratom, doing all the driving, not having exercised in a few days, having to go back to work and face reality and do all, you know, I think all of that together is kind of what's causing me to kind of have like a wah, 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 sort of attitude or whatever. But going to kickboxing tonight, I'm going to get a workout in. I'm probably going to get some sparring in, and I guarantee you that'll probably help me feel a lot better. Slept okay last night. I did take a melatonin, but you know, going 27 days without it and then going on a 3-day bender or 3.5-day bender, 4-day, whatever, going on a 4-day bender of Kratom and then coming back off again, I haven't built my tolerance back up. So I'm not experiencing like the insomnia and stuff like that. My body hasn't had a chance to get readjusted to taking the Kratom all the time like I was when I was taking it for 3-4 years straight every day, right? So that's what I want. I have to keep it that way. I want to keep it that way, and I will keep it that way. But anyway, love you guys. Check out my Kratom taper playlist if you're interested in how I went about coming off of Kratom. And that's it. I gotta go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you very much. See you next time. Peace.